can sing.
There we go. There we go.
Woo!
Hey, welcome everybody to Astronomy Daily Live. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yay. Yeah, I had some sudden things happening yesterday, and it's like, oh man. So yeah, it's always a lot easier just to cancel than having to rush around and worry and all those kinds of things. So yeah, super easy. So let me be maybe at least one of the first to wish you all a happy solstice today, the 21st of June, 2019. It's 2:01 UTC, so it's early. It's early on the 21st, but nevertheless, it is, at least in terms of UT time, the day. And the exact time of the solstice is I think it's 1534. Let me I looked that up earlier and it has completely slid out of my head. So I'm going to look that up really
Live
quick.
long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. So on the panel, Bobby, hey, what's going on?
And don't forget the lovely, sexy, talented Tricky out the Linta.
Tricky, yes.
Tricky, that's closer to it.
Tricky
Yeah,
for
sorry
sure.
about that. Hey,
Okay,
so show me those Star Trek cats, please.
yeah, let's look at those Star Trek cats, and while we're showing those off, the time of the solstice is 1554 UTC. So, Otto, what have you got to show us today? Wow. All right, so what is this? What is this?
It's
Is this
largely a book. It's just a small book. I think it would have appeal to children, where they use cats in the scenes of some of the famous Star Trek scenes. Like you see the Spock cat, and if you can't pick him out, something's wrong with you. He's the one with the big ears. You see the Spock cat doing a mind meld. And you see the Kirk cat in a big pile of tribbles, and it's really cute.
Oh my gosh.
Can we see a couple of them?
It's just sure. Hey, I've got to give Astronomy magazine credit. Let me see. I'll go to one of the good ones. There's Kirk at the. There's Kirk at the captain's chair. There he is.
There's Ura at the back, huh?
I want to find the mind meld one. It's really good.
You've got a lot of stuff.
There's Scotty. That cat, I swear to God, looks like Jimmy Doohan. I swear to God.
It sort of does.
If a cat can look like a person. Oh, here's McCoy. Scruffy old gray cat.
Okay, yeah.
He's doing his thing. Now, where's that mind meld one? That one is really good.
He's a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Here he is. He's mind melding.
Oh, there we go.
There's Spock. He's mind melding with the Horta.
With the Horta, yeah.
You remember the Horta? I thought that was a cool show.
That is probably one of, at least as far as I'm concerned, top 10.
I think so. The two top ones that were voted top by fans was Journey to the Edge of Forever and The Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah. Now, I like them, but I wouldn't have voted for those two in the top 10. Hey, Page Master. Page Master's here.
Page Master. There's Jim from Carolina Sky. Tom. And yeah, that's it.
Nice. Tom, nice to have you in the chat. Carolina Sky. Yep.
Must be
Master.
rain in there, or those guys would be out.
So he's just about to enter the Barzon wormhole. I don't remember what the Barzon wormhole is. Is that the one next to DS9 or no? Is that a different one? Yeah. Sitting on the Edge of Forever. That's that to me is definitely top 10. Yeah, I don't know if it's any. I'm not quite sure. I've never dared to try to
Hey.
show that again, Octa.
Yeah, show it
This
again.
is what you need when you're around Paige. That's the only way you can keep up with Page Master when it comes to Star Trek.
Wow. That's a nice hefty volume, it looks like.
This one I got from my boyfriend. He'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. Well, like my one of the kitty mugs here. All right, I don't know if you can read that or not. What is it? Try to focus.
It's a little.
Focus.
You'll have to read it to us, I think.
There it goes.
Oh, there we go.
214th Ferengi rule of acquisition. Never. Oh, I'm reading it backwards.
On an empty stomach.
Yeah. And that was I actually just recently saw that in one of the DS9 shows. So it's a real thing. You know, he calls it by, that number and says it exactly like that. So yeah, that's not even a made up one. That's a real one from a real Ferengi.
Yeah, well, he, like I told you, the guy I go with is not a science fiction fan. He thinks it's kind of silly, but he loves the Ferengi. He thinks they're really down to earth, boy. But again, in DS9, that's what they were supposed to be. I mean, really, the ordinary man would be more likely to relate to Quark, who's just trying to make a living, and it isn't all this high-minded, super guy.
Right.
The ordinary person would relate to him much more than they would relate to, say, Captain.
And we like to welcome Niji in the chat. As a kid, he watched the Trouble with Tribble so many times. I remember that there were 1,771,561 Tribbles on the space station K7. You need to rabbitize that. Let's rabbitize that.
That's great. That's absolutely great. Yeah, that episode of Star Trek, I don't find it extremely interesting at all. It
isn't interesting. It's funny.
I don't even know if I find it funny. I mean, I know what they're doing there and everything, and
can we please still rabbitize it probably after the show, please?
Well, let's think about that. That's a possibility, but yeah, I am definitely not going to be able to do that today. Absolutely no way. As it is, this might be a little short show because yours truly is running on about 3 cylinders. So
yeah, me too, actually, for different reasons.
But I've got the hydrogen hydroxide here to keep me well oiled, well lubed, and make sure everything's flowing. So cheers.
Everybody to welcome Indy Callie and Uncle Bill Duen in the chat. In the chat.
Yeah, yeah,
Ruin.
yeah. So
Ruin.
so
Ruin.
Uncle Bill, we were talking about tribbles, Uncle Bill, and
I know why you
yeah,
didn't like it. Because
why?
in the end, really, when they beamed those tribbles over to the Klingon ship to get rid of them, you
Um,
know the Klingons were going to kill them.
well,
Hey.
that that is true, but it, I mean, there's sort of a mutual antagonism there. So I would think that the triples, I mean, in their own way, might get pretty violent. I don't
I
know
heard
exactly.
there
What
was another
it's-
rocket launch that probably never got noted upon.
there was a rocket launch. There was an Ariane. Was it an Ariane 5? Launched a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
A couple of hours ago,
So,
and there's
who was the provider?
um, I think it was Ariane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think
And where they're from? Where they're from?
well, I think that's a collaboration between the European Space Agency and others. I think France, Germany. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, and I guess it went off just fine. So good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. Yeah, there's a Falcon Heavy launch in a few days. Don't
Ooh, he
remember
wanted.
exactly.
I got to
Yeah,
love those SpaceX launches.
yeah. Well, and
And
this
of
is Falcon
course, I
Heavy.
love the drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that was a cute name for that drone ship for sure.
Well, you got to name it something. You might as well, uh, uh, you know, call it like you mean it. So, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be happening in a few days, and I think this is a night launch, so it's going to be sort of a different uh, view in a certain way. It's going to be like really, really, really neat. In another way, it's going to be harder to see a lot of
Mhm.
things. But oh yeah, and light sails on this thing too. Yeah,
So tell me more about White Cell. Let's do that.
light sail
Yeah.
is. I think that's an experiment that's being operated by the Planetary Society, and it's a little spacecraft that is going to unfurl this huge solar sail. I don't remember how big it is. Um, Pretty darn big. Um, Tom might know, but really, really big. And the idea there is, and this has already been shown, is that you can actually use sunlight to move around,
Okay. So it's a CubeSat that will use proton pressure to navigate.
hmm i.e., light. So yeah, there actually was I think it was a DS9 episode where they went back in time and they went to the Tribble episode. They actually went to Space Station K7 and witnessed the the antics with the Tribbles, and they mix those two up pretty well.
All right.
Pretty
And we
well.
like to thank Pagemaster for directing us to where we need to go from out Light Cell.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, so the light sail thing is a pretty exciting experiment. We're trying to find alternative means of moving around, and the light sail is, I think, a pretty viable option. I would like to see all the options be available. So you know,
So it's gonna. I think it's also gonna launch a that CubeSat that Tom was talking about by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. So
And I heard there was a dig it back in 2005. They lost the satellite, their solar sail ship, because something happened with the rocket and it never did and it never got deployed and stuff.
ah, yeah. Well, those kinds of things happen. Those kinds of things happen. You don't want them to happen, but they do. They do. So, hey, since it's the solstice, I think that we should take a look at the sun because it's the solstice. It just seems sort of appropriate on these solar days to go over to some of our favorite solar websites and take a look. And yeah, that actually was the name of the DS9 episode. So yeah, I remember that too. So yeah, that was they did a pretty darn good job there with that one, mixing it up a little bit. The I don't know if you all remember the end of the Tribbles episode when Kirk is standing in that pile of Tribbles, but there are still some falling down on him. Okay, well, in the DS9, and this is a spoiler, but whatever. The Tribbles that are falling down on Kirk are actually being thrown at him by um, um, the symbiont. What's her name? Um, and the Klingon. What's his name? I'm drawing a complete blank. But anyway, those two characters are actually throwing the Tribbles at Kirk, so they aren't actually sort of falling out; they're actually being thrown at him. So that's a spoiler alert, but yeah, that's how it is. So yeah, let's take a
Before
look
we
at the
go to
sun.
the sun, I have to make an obvious comment regarding propulsion in space. Light sails are great. All this stuff is great. But if we're ever going to get anywhere in real time, commensurate with our lifespans, we are going to have to find another way to do it. Something totally different, not based on firepower or propulsion or even solar power. It just isn't fast enough to get
Yeah,
it.
it's fast given enough time, but we're talking a lot of time.
We haven't got that kind of time.
Right,
We
right.
can't
Well,
work that way.
right. Either that, or we freeze ourselves and
Even if you do,
make
it's not
the journey.
practical. It's
No,
not
no,
practical.
I
You
totally
come
agree.
back
Yeah,
2,000 years later, all that stuff you did is probably passe if your race still exists.
yeah, yeah.
It's not practical. We have to do it in our sense of time lifespan.
Hmm.
And
So
we don't have a way to do that yet.
yeah, we need to figure out a way either to warp or fold space, and then it's no trouble at all. You don't
Well,
have to move.
that's
You don't have
right.
to move at all. So
But we
yeah,
don't have a handle on that yet.
we don't have a clue.
Yeah, and that's why if we were off to go like further than the moon, like let's say to Mars, there's like the thing called hypersleep.
Hypersleep.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I mean, you can do all that, but you still then you get out of sync with where you came from.
Yeah.
If you're in that state too long. Now, you want to hypersleep for a year, no big deal, but you want to hypersleep for a couple hundred, you have a problem.
or thousands or millions or
or
whatever.
thousands or millions. It just wouldn't be practical. We
Yeah.
will have to have some breakthrough on movement. Yeah, I know
Well,
we need warp speed,
right.
Carolyn. I get
And
that.
and maybe that is the answer to the Fermi paradox. Is that there just isn't any, at least no one has figured out sort of a practical way of moving large distances in short amounts of time.
Not yet, but
So,
we'll
I
have
mean,
to. It's just
yeah,
it's not an if or gee, wouldn't that be nice? If we're going to get anywhere in this universe, we're going to have to figure that out.
yeah, yeah. Well, and like I said, I mean, maybe that means that we are sort of stuck, which, I mean, it's not such a bad place.
No.
But is it possible that even if you can do warp speed, can the timing still be changing and stuff?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't quite follow the physics there. So
Well, we're going to run into trouble if we get to a place, if we get near heavy gravity. I mean, time for us will start to slow down, and that's going to cause some troubles, we think, if we get back home after experiencing this slow. We'll get back home, and maybe our daughter or son will be older than we are. I mean, we don't know what'll happen because we just haven't done it.
yeah, and I mean, is something like that possible? I think so, and the reason why I do think it's possible is because we may not be exactly asking the exactly right question, but we're asking a question about it.
Yeah.
And usually, if there's a question,
There's an
there,
If
you know,
warp
yeah,
were possible, the entire Virgo cluster would be colonized by now if every one single species develop it.
yeah, yeah.
Just where
That's
are we going to find those species?
well, they're that is the question. So I'm pretty convinced that if we're not the first, which is a possibility, but if we're not, then I think intelligent life is everywhere. I think it's yeah, I think a lot easier than what you know we sort of think. Life in general, yeah, I I think you know we're just crawling with it everywhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, no problem at
And that goes
all.
back to that's something I watched on Swimmer College on CNN, and they were saying about that. Remember, they had that cigar-shaped object they found in interstellar space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Amuamua,
yeah.
which yeah, oh, go
95% uh, that were in that poll, 95% agreed that we are not alone in the universe.
yeah. Well, for what it's worth, yeah. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Oumuamua, just really, really, really quick. It's all we have. All we have is a really, really, really bad light curve. It's all we've got on this thing. So,
If warp were possible and intelligent life was common, they would have found us by now.
yeah, I totally agree. So it's all we have is a light curve. So I mean, we don't actually really, really, really know for sure what shape that was. So, to characterize it as a cigar shape, I that's a stretch. That's a real stretch. The models say maybe it's a cigar shape, but we have so little data on that that everything that you hear is except and in fact even the orbit, we don't have really enough data to really make a good orbit. So we don't know if it's a hyperbolic, a parabolic, huge ellipse. We're just not exactly sure. So even
Yeah.
so we don't really know that much about it at all. So having said that, Oumuamua zipped around the sun, just like everything else is. And so let's I'm going to pull up. Let's see. Let's go to Soho first. I think I've got that already pulled up here. Yeah, because actually just the other day, a little comet flew by it and evaporated. Actually I don't think it made it all the way around. So let's we can start looking at that. Since it's the solstice, we need to look at the sun for sure, for sure. And the sun
And
has
I think
just
the
set.
sun is still sleeping.
The sun is nice and quiet at the moment. All right, so here's Soho. Soho sort of main access point here. And so let's just go to the sun now. The sun now. So Soho is looking at the sun at several different wavelengths, as you can see here. They're all, well, four of them are in the ultraviolet, and then there's what's called the continuum, which is pretty much just visible light. And then they have a magnetogram, which is measuring the magnetic field strength. And then they have the two LASCO coronagraph instruments that allow us to look at the sun's corona.
Yeah,
and sort
it's
of be very
definitely sleeping for sure.
Yeah, I think so. So let's take a look at a couple of these. This is so this says 171 angstroms. So there it is.
Can we look at stereo A if we got time?
Yeah, I think we should for sure. So you can see a few what I would call coronal holes. These dark areas that sort of look like holes. You can see a big hole down here. Let's see what else we've got here. All right, so this is showing off a little bit more. You can actually see a little bit more of the structure.
Earth alert.
Oh,
Uh-oh. There's an Earth alert. Hey there, Ron. How are you?
How you doing?
Happy solstice.
Oh yeah. It's
yeah. Next we're
finally-
still
finally
looking
summer.
messed up. Ron, next we're
Huh?
still looking messed up.
What's up?
The mixer, is it still messed up?
Yeah, I haven't checked it recently, but last I checked.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
let me check the Twitter. I got their
It's in read only mode.
Read only? Wow.
Yeah.
They're doing maintenance, but they don't bother to let us know that. They just do maintenance.
Oh, great. Thanks so much.
So we get to pay for the whole year all at once, but we only get to use it for 11 months.
I gotcha. I've heard that kind of deal before.
Yeah. So on the Jupiter picture, backtracking. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, so according to Bixler's status on Twitter, it says it looks like it won't be possible to switch out the read only mode for at least about a few hours.
All right.
If you have a broadcast scheduled today, you can't. There's a possibility it's not happening. So they are apologizing for the inconvenience. That was 4 hours ago.
Apologizing, they can give me a month off for my renewal. That's what they could do.
That would be a nice apology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but 30 days free would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
So, I had a question though, backtracking to the Jupiter picture that you shared on Discord. I noticed the one where you had the cloud band. You had cloud bands with the planets.
Which one are you talking about? This?
You had the one with the cloud bands and the planets.
And the moons, you mean?
Yeah, or the moons. Yeah, cloud bands with the moon. Sorry, I meant the moon. I did mean the moons.
Where was that? I don't remember.
You got me so excited. You're actually live tonight, so I don't really know how to act.
I didn't notice any change.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Damn, Connery, she got you on that.
Absolutely perfect. Just how it should be. Greatness is often unnoticed. Where is this?
No, so anyway, I was wondering, how did you get the cloud bands in that view? Because most of the time, you either don't have the planet, or you don't have the moons, or you don't have the cloud bands.
Yeah, I'm not. For some reason, I'm not seeing.
Okay, it's in one of those. I've seen it clearly on my feed when I was looking at it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where that was.
And I probably wouldn't be any help. So.
Oh, are you talking about? Well,
and the cloud bands were very clear.
Like that?
No, it was where you had the four moons rather, and you had Jupiter with the cloud bands.
You talking about this?
A little bit more defined, a little bit more detail.
That's about as detailed as you can get.
Actually, yeah, that might be it. Yeah, I remember the writing on the left. I remember you had that.
Okay.
Now, is that your picture or is that something on the website?
No, this is Stellarium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
Now, can you get the cloud bands with the moon view with all the, or is it a filter issue? Is it a?
It's really hard to do that because Jupiter is so much brighter than the moons.
Right.
I mean, you can look at the images that I've.
So is that picture done with like what they say stacking or what they say?
The Stellarium image.
Yeah.
That's a simulated image. That is totally simulated.
All right.
So there's
nothing.
Like
that. That's the picture you had, right?
Yeah. So this is more typical, and as you can see, Jupiter is completely overexposed. Just completely blasted.
You could not manipulate the photograph. I mean, in real time, you couldn't manipulate it to get the cloud bands with the moons, or
Carolina has something in the chat you should read, Ron. It says you have to set your exposure settings just right to get the bands and the moons.
Okay.
And,
yeah,
thank you, Carolina Astronomy.
It's and
watch some of his videos.
Yeah,
I would say,
yeah. Even then, it's really tricky, really tricky. It can be done.
I was just wondering if you used a filter, would you use a planetary filter, or would you just use the like what he was talking about, the settings?
I think probably, and you're talking about photography here, so that is getting into a realm that I don't know a lot about.
Yeah, there's some filters you can use that would bring out the look of the planet.
Yeah, I mean, there are some filters that like allow you to see methane a little bit
Right.
better.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing can help, but Carolina Sky is exactly right. I think if you get your settings right in terms of exposure and all of that,
Okay.
you'll be much better off. So this is just, um, you know, I think this is a tenth of a second exposure, and that's just blowing out of the water. It's just
Okay.
really, really, really bright. But I got the other ones, which is what I wanted
So
anyway.
in a stellarium, the picture in a stellarium is basically an artist artist perception
Yeah, yeah. I
or
mean,
conception, however you want to say it.
it's it's just sort of like a simulated view.
Yeah.
I mean, it's based on real things, but it is just an artistic view. Yeah.
So the cloud bands are angled due to the gravitational of the moons, correct?
Angled?
Yeah, the angle of the clouds are angled because of the moon's gravities. Different.
No. Those
No.
those bands follow the latitude um, of their position on the planet. So
Oh, I
yeah,
thought they were
they
connected with the orbit of the moon.
yeah,
Huh.
as far as I know, no.
Hmm.
No, not in any way. There is interaction between the planet and the moons, but in terms of like the bands and stuff, I think that's pretty much being run by Jupiter. I don't think the moons play a major role in that. I don't think
Hmm.
so, at least.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, so let's keep
Well,
looking
that
at the
was
sun
fun.
here. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Back to what you're doing.
So this is 304 angstroms, and at that point, we're starting to see some prominences here, at least on the edges. There are other prominences here, more on the face, but they're harder to see because we don't have the background sky there or the.
How come that's red?
It's just a color that they've chosen. Yeah, so it has absolutely nothing to do with the wavelength of light or anything. This is an ultraviolet light, so to us it would be black. Right? I mean, we wouldn't see it at all. So yeah,
That would be no fun. That'd be boring.
no. So the solar astronomers have decided to color the sun, with certain um, decided upon color palettes. And so 171 is always this blue, 195 is always that. You'll see it when we go over to SDO. You'll see the same colors because the same wavelengths, approximately the same wavelengths.
Filter I use on the scope is I think a yellow. There's kind of a yellow look to it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the color of the sun. Standard filter.
Sure.
So.
Okay, and like to welcome Deep Sky Dude in the chat.
Hey there, Deep Sky Dude.
He has a good picture too if you haven't seen his work yet.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely. And so happy solstice, everyone. Happy solstice. We are looking.
Right.
We are
no
looking
more snow. Summer is here. No more snow.
No more snow guaranteed.
Although they had the snow in where was that? Canada, someplace.
Oh wow.
Lorraine shared a picture of it. That they had a freak thunder snow, and
oh my gosh.
Came up with a weird blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as
that's Bob, color. That's the color I got right there. That kind of a yellow.
Well, this is sort of the visible light shot of it. And as you can see, in terms of sunspots and whatnot, there is none.
I didn't see any the other day either when I looked.
So it's just a nice, quiet sun doing its thing.
Yep.
Which is okay. You like it like that.
Yep.
So let's look at the Alaska ones.
It is fun to spot if you can actually catch a sunspot occasionally.
Oh, sure, absolutely. We just don't want to have too much excitement with the sun.
Right.
No, I like a quiet sun.
What does that mean, though? What does the sunspots mean? I kind of know, but
you're a radio guy. I mean, a lot of trouble for you, and a lot of trouble for everybody. Being a big one.
There won't be no radio for a while,
huh?
No. Sunspots are they a burned out part of the sun? Is that what's happening, or what exactly happens?
Well, nobody knows exactly, but no, absolutely not. They are not a burned out area. They seem to be associated with pretty strong magnetic fields, and they also seem to be cooler.
And speaking of radio, don't say there will be no radio, because there will always be radio for sure.
Oh yeah. And that brings me to another thought about energy and frequency and things like that. But that's a whole other lesson that we can talk about later. we can talk about that.
I think like now somewhere down the line, I am planning on getting like a GMRS transceiver. Now I'm planning on getting a GMRS license, so I might be talking about GMRS frequency. So it doesn't give me the ham privileges. It just lets me listen to GMRS frequencies and talk to them as well.
Right. So here's the LASCO.
Where's that view from? Man, why does it look like that?
This is the LASCO C3 camera, and what it is, it's a chronograph. So they've put a thing in front of the sun here to block it, and then with some software they've extended it out a little bit because of the optical effects. It's ugly in there, but what this allows us to see is sort of the outer corona, and you can see, bright little rays and dark rays and sort of an occasional burst, but at the moment there really isn't much of anything. There's a small one down here. And
hey, Spencer, if you can reelaborate, they say that you have two regions on sunspots, the penumbra and the umbra. Maybe elaborate on that?
Well, those are just the two main parts of the sunspot. There's a penumbra, which is sort of a lighter than the umbra, which is pretty dark. Both of those are darker than the sun, which sort of implies that they're cooler. Maybe.
Oh, what are those things floating towards? You got things that are floating towards the sun there.
Yeah, so this is a pretty wide field of view, and you're seeing background stars that are moving slowly east to west. Lots of cosmic rays, lots of other things, because the spacecraft is out in space and it is getting absolutely bombarded. So there's a lot of things flying around out there, and if they hit the detector, they are going to be seen. So you can see all the background stars here. I'm trying to recognize them, but I'm not. Don't recognize any patterns here.
And you know what's
So,
crazy is we're not out of that minimum for sure yet.
nope, not quite yet, I guess. So that's a pretty wide field. They've also got a narrower field. So, it's the same basic thing. They put a mask in front of the sun, makes everything inside of here really ugly. So I think with software, they sort of, just eliminated that. But now you can really start seeing some details in the corona here. Really, really neat stuff. How it moves and changes.
Yeah, guy dude will probably be in a minimum for at least a year or so.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I'll let this whole thing load, and then we'll.
So another
see the date
besides Zoom, remember we're talking about the video platform. Besides Zoom, I've been looking at something called Bitmovio.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that over in the Discord. I need to look at that too.
Yeah, and I just figured out how to get the live view working on my computer. I did get it going, so
cool.
I'm not sure exactly how it connects. There is a way to connect it to YouTube, I was told, but I'm not sure how to do that either.
All right.
But I know that I use a YouTube stream key to get it to go to live where somebody else can watch it. So I don't know if that's the only reason to use the stream key for YouTube or if it actually goes to YouTube. I have not figured that one out yet.
Yeah,
Right.
I think like what it is that so when you put your authorization for YouTube within the encoder, you go ahead and you engage your encoder, the streamer will automatically.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I got to do. Okay. All right.
I think that's right.
All right. Well, I'll work on that. But it looks pretty good though. So just a note to self.
Okay. So, yeah. So I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed or not, but when you watch this, look for this little thing that's coming up. It's moving really, really fast. I think it happens around 6:20 or so. I don't remember. There it goes.
There it goes. Yep.
Yeah. So that.
Yep, there's something.
That was a comet that was on its way in.
Oh, was that the one? Was that the one that crashed into the sun, or no?
Well, it doesn't look like it crashed into the sun.
Or
it looks like it just evaporated. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it just vanished. Right? I mean, it vanished.
Is that the Levy, or what was it?
This probably doesn't have any kind of name or anything.
Well, there were two that were noted for a name. Levy was one.
Levy we're talking about?
Yeah, was that one, or was that the wrong one I'm thinking of?
Well, Shoemaker Levy 9.
They came close to the sun.
There was Lovejoy.
Okay, there you go.
There have been a few large bright comets that have been seen this way, but they've seen well over 3,000 of these little ones.
Oh
wow! So far, and this is one that it pops into the field of view and evaporates, and that's all we know about it. That's it. There's no name. There's no
one that crashed into Jupiter. Which one was that?
That was Shoemaker Levy 9.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was exciting and fun, and I'm glad I was there to see it.
Yeah.
And when was that collision happen?
I think that was 1994 or 1996. I forget.
Exactly. I don't remember the names, but I do remember the stories.
Oh, it got a lot of publicity. I wasn't even interested in astronomy back then, and I knew about that.
Let's go over to SDO really quick. Oh, I gotta spell it right.
I always forget to tune into YouTube all the time. I just
So
get your email link and I get onto the Google Hangouts and I forget YouTube is on.
Oh, okay.
Poor guys over there, they're thinking that guy's so rude. He don't come over and talk to us anymore.
Anybody can come in here anytime they want, anytime. So, oh wow! So,
except
I'm just looking at this. They lost
that's
some.
been there. That's been there.
Lost some data. Oh, that sort of sucks. Okay, so yeah.
That's been there.
So this is a different spacecraft now. We were looking at SOHO. Now we're looking at SDO. And SDO is.
Oh, we're still gonna have time to look at stereo A.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So, primarily, SDO is just a higher resolution device, and I think it looks at more wavelengths than SOHO does. So, really, really nice. Each wavelength, we're sort of looking at different stuff. So, we're looking at different parts of the sun's atmosphere and different things in it.
I got it now.
Good. So, yeah, let's take a look here. Let's just go high res. Why not? So this really shows off some of the coronal holes. So there is usually a coronal hole at the north and the south pretty constantly. And then you'll have these other ones. And these are actual, like, supposedly at least, actual physical holes through this corona, which is sort of like the sun's atmosphere, sort of, kind of.
That's the doorway to the portal. That's the portal.
It very well may could be, but
you fly your ship into it and it goes into another place.
Yeah. But what these kinds of things definitely are garden hoses. These things are shooting out all kinds of nasty stuff at very, very high speed. Protons, alpha particles, just everything. And it's like a garden hose. This is being sprayed out. Now this is sort of south of the center, so it's going to be shooting its spray below us.
How close would you have to be to roast your marshmallow on that one?
You can pretty much do that from here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think that marshmallow will melt if you go straight to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. So here again,
what would be the safest distance you could observe that? Say if you were in a ship and you wanted to see that gas being spewed out, what would be the safest distance you could watch it?
Yeah, I mean it's.
You have other things happening there too. You got radiation, temperatures, and things like that are going to cause problems.
Well, the Parker Solar Probe is going to be going, I think, within a few tens of millions of kilometers, so or miles, if you want to put it that way. So it's getting relatively close. I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm very, very sure that it's getting inside the orbit of Mercury. So, but it only spends a short amount of time there, and then it pops back out. So, yeah, I mean, we can get relatively close. Need a lot of protection, because yeah, I mean it's hot. It's a pretty nasty place. Don't want to get too close. Anyway, so there's
But
that.
the energy from radiation is what can fry the electronics, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And the solar probe, all the electronics are in like a special metal box. I don't know if it's like really really thick lead shielded. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but I mean it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
So here's sort of a different view of the corona. It's actually showing a little bit more of the extent of this coronal hole, and yeah, it actually does extend up past the center line here. And so, yeah, we're probably going to be experiencing this a little bit. We'll probably experience a little bit of an increase in the wind and the density because, yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting hosed down here a little bit. So that's all right.
So will we see any sunspots in the near future?
I think predicting sunspots is I don't think we're there yet. So we just sort of have to sit around and wait. What they've also done here is they've taken like 3 different colors and combined them. Sometimes that helps in being able to see things maybe slightly better. Whether it does or not, that's sort of up to you, I guess. But yeah, so there's that. Let's see. So they've got the same kind of thing. They've got the magnetograms here, which there's always activity on the sun. It's not as if it's a completely quiet sun. It's just there isn't any major kinds of activity now. But if you look at the magnetic field here, it's a complicated thing. I don't remember which way is which. If the oranges and the yellows are positive or negative, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, it's a complicated place, very busy, extremely dynamic. We'll have to let the rest of this load. So yeah, that's just the magnetic field strength. So not much going on, but you've got these blobs, which I mean, here they look really really small. These are big. These are really 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 big. Maybe not quite Earth size, but still very big. So yeah, pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Let's see what else they have here. Not much of anything else. Yeah, so they have the same kind of features, and they've got some movies. You can browse the data by date.
Wouldn't that be cool if you can come up with an energy source like the sun, and you can just have your source for as long as you're alive. Anyway, you can have power.
It's that would be extremely nice, and I'm really really glad that the sun is there to provide that for us. Because I think I'm pretty safe. It's pretty safe to say that without the sun, I think we'd be in pretty big trouble.
Yeah.
So for sure. All right, let's go over to stereo. Stereo. So this one, I think that's sort of the main access page. I like to show everybody where to start at least, and then we can dive into the data. So stereo is really really cool. It did have 2 spacecraft, which is why it was called stereo. One spacecraft sort of in front of the Earth, and one sort of behind it in terms of its orbit. And I think we were looking at this a while ago. One of the stereos was stereo B has failed. I don't think it's operating anymore, or at least it's extremely limited. I forget exactly what the status of that is. Oh, but here there's a where is stereo. We can sort of look and see where both A and B are. In fact, for 3 hours UTC, which is right now. So that's sort of the situation. Here's A, here's B, here's the Earth. So they orbit the sun pretty much the same distance as the Earth, but as you can see, one is in front of the Earth, the other is in the back of the Earth. I don't think that I've established yet which is which, so I'm not sure if B is in front and A is in back, or the other way around. But they do call this one ahead and this one behind. So I'm still confused about that, but that's all right. But yeah, I think one of these spacecraft isn't operational anymore. Don't remember which one. Let's see if we can find some data here really quick. Instrument data pages archived. Let's see. Let's go over to. Let's just try this. Okay, so these are the different instruments on SOHO. They actually have a few instruments on there. I don't remember what the. I guess it's called this. Let's just look.
I guess we had a tornado touchdown in southwestern Minnesota. That's
my gosh! Wow.
It didn't happen around here, but I mean, I guess farther south.
Happy summer.
Yeah. Wow, that looks pretty good there. Glad I wasn't there.
Look at that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think we did this before. That's right. So I think this is safe to do, right? Going to the Navy's website. Not available, huh?
Oh.
No, it's not available. Wow.
What
let's try the other
crap?
one here. Let's try this other one. Which one was it? Is it this one? Nope, not that one. Slide image database. Oh, page requested. Not available.
You say southwestern Minnesota, but they don't tell you where. You say southwestern Minnesota. Like, well, okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a little big.
Southwestern. I'm in southwestern Minnesota. What are you talking about?
Yeah, wow.
I think we're not gonna be able to see stereo A.
So I know there was some weather just north of me. I don't know if it was south of me or not.
Wow. Here it is. We've got it. This is it. This is this.
And we just lost Atta.
Atta is turned into a pumpkin. Yeah.
Oh no. Good night.
Yeah, so it's stereo ahead that is able to look at parts of the sun that we can't. See, I mean, we can sort of see this half on our side. We can see this half over on A. So we can actually see parts of the sun from stereo A that we can't see from Earth. So that's pretty cool. Browse data. Let's see if that beacon images. I don't remember what these are. Image tool, movie maker. Well, let's. I don't remember how to drive this, so let's just look. Okay, it brought us back to that. Makes sense.
I think they're like I think there's got to be like something that's coming from the east side of Stereo A.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I still need to figure all that out too. It's a little confusing. So it's just a matter of looking at it a little bit. But yeah, there it is. There it is. Stereo A. So I guess it's A that's still running. Plots of latest in situ and radio beacon data. Let's look at that. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So this is just showing magnetic field strength at X, Y, and Z. And then here is the total magnetic field strength. I don't know what the red and brown lines mean. But okay. Well, it's all here if we want to access it for sure. Cool. Wow, this just goes on and on and on here. I'm not quite sure what any of this is.
A lot of numbers. A lot of numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the time of day versus megahertz. So I'm not quite sure what they are looking at there. It looks kind of interesting. I'd like to know more. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, neat stuff. Let's you know, I mean, this is the sun, so it's always great to look in on the sun. But I think it's about time to get on out of here for today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do that. Let's stop sharing. I'm not gonna share any more with any of you.
Oh.
For now, at least. So, all right, everybody. It is 3:08 UTC, and I am a goner. So, yeah, I think I'm going to get on out of here.
All right, see you next time. And remember, what do? You tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Spread the word. That's always great. You know, I'm just here sharing a passion, so I thoroughly enjoy this. It's just a lot of fun, yeah, I'm gonna keep on doing it. Once in a while, there's a little bit of thing where I'm just not able to be here, but that's going to be relatively rare, and I'll try to let you know if I can. But it's usually no big deal, and in this case, it wasn't either. So, all right, everybody, take care.
Peace, all right, thank you. Have a great night. Good night, everybody.
I will see you on the spin. Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.